Hello and welcome, Andrew Peters here with the fourth episode in the special package for 2018. First of all, our disclaimer as usual, and then just a reminder of the contents of the special package, which is explained in more detail in the first video in this series. So for this fourth episode, we're going to set up a system whereby we're going to copy normal and inverted trades from third-party EAs and managing these with the trade manager. Well, we're going to be just using one trade copier sender for all third-party EAs that we might be running on our particular account. We've used the trade copier from ForexSkills and any third-party EAs that you want to test, not a multi-grid because the controller works off the balance of the account, and the multi-grids, and the balance is always increasing, but it's the equity that goes into massive drawdown and blows up your account, and the EA controller doesn't monitor the equity, so no point in using multi EAs with this system of trading. So what we are going to do is to set up two platforms. One is I call the controller MT4 platform. We'll put all our EAs on here. Currently got 5 running, and then we're going to have one sender, and it's going to send the copies to a second platform where we have 2 receivers. One will receive them normally and copy a buy to a buy, and the other one will invert the signal and it'll convert a buy to a sell and vice versa. And then those trades will be managed by trade managers, and the trade managers will be controlled by the controller on the EA. In my case, they'll both be demo accounts. You may have some EAs that you're running nicely on live and you want to see whether you can improve their performance by using this setup. If so, you can still put your sender on this platform and load up all the controllers, and they will not interfere in any way with the way that EAs are running. But they will all be copied here and managed in the controller fashion, and so after a time you'll be able to see whether this way of trading improves performance or whether you're better off sticking with the way you've been trading normally. And that's why this package is available for a full year for you to test at a very cheap price. If you get too many, if you're running say 20 or so EAs, you would end up with 40 charts. They wouldn't all be operating at the same time, but you might find that a bit much. And so you could split that second MT4, make it 2 MT4s, but still running off the one account. So one account, but opening it on 2 MT4s, one to receive the normal entry versions and one to receive the inverted copies of the trades. Okay, so let's move to my VPS platform where I've got this partially set up. Okay, so here we are on my main MT4 platform. It's an IC Markets one. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 EAs running. First 4 are for free, freely available, and this one I bought some time ago. And I've got the ForexSkills trade copier sender, and let me quickly show you just one important setting. So it's copying all trades from all the 5 EAs that I have, and the important thing to note is that we're running 2 channels from this particular sender, one to a trade copy receiver N and one to trade copy receiver R. If I open the properties, you can see that that's where you input the channel. All you do is you separate the 2 names by a comma, and you can give these any names at all, just something that suits you, and as long as you use each of these properly in the receiver end. You then specify the symbols. In this case I just want these 5 symbols, and for this particular purpose with the trade manager and the way that the trade copier operates, we can only have 1 EA per currency symbol. Otherwise we'll just don't have the sufficient distinction between the various magic numbers. I'll explain that in a bit more detail later on. I'm doing a lot size multiply 10 because I'm copying from a micro lot to a mini lot. It's the key ones that you need to have there. So I'll click OK. Now what we need to do is to enter EA controller onto each of these platforms. As you can see, I've already done these two, but let me show you, for instance, if I wanted to do it on there. It's simple to, under your indicator on the folder on the navigator bar, you should have loaded your EA controller. So it's a double click. We're selecting the mode, and the mode is to be signal, because the copier mode is if we want to control the trade copier. We're controlling a trade manager, which is an EA, which has the signal code. And then it's a question of filling in these things, which I'll show you on the ones that I've done. So let me cancel out of there, and let me move to the pound US dollar. This is an interesting one that I chose because if we look at the properties for this EA, we'll see that the developer has not listed the magic number. Now we need the magic number so that we can tell the controller and trade manager what it is actually managing. So to do that, we'll go to our FX Blue Publisher. You can see that I've got the FX Blue Publisher loaded on my platform as well. And let me just pause the video while I go to that website. And here is where this is my statement for the ICM platform, the IC Markets platform. This is the third-party EA's controller platform. Here we can see the 4 EAs that have currently traded on these currency pairs. And what we now need to know is we need to know the magic number of this one. So the simplest way is to filter for the pound, that currency pair. And all we have it. If we then go to symbol and change it to magic, we'll find the magic here. So the magic actually being used by that EA is 4637283. And so now we're back on the platform, the IC Markets demo platform. So what I've done, I've loaded 2 copies of the controller onto the chart. This is the first one, and if I right click the indicator list, we'll bring that up. So we've selected the signal mode. This is for the normal, so we're not reversing the signal, that's false. I'll have to add my email address. I've given this ID the number S for signal, the 4637283, which is the magic number, and the word normal. So that is my ID that I'll have to use in the trade manager so that the controller can be linked to the trade manager. For information, I've added the normal as the strategy, and we're monitoring the EA with the magic number 4637283. So I've done that one, and I'll just add my email address off here, and you'd obviously add your own email address, the one you used to purchase the package. And so that one's fine. If we now look at the second one, and again we're selecting the signal mode. This time we're reversing the signal, so we're setting that to true. Enter email address. The ID I've given it is the same S and the same magic number, but this time it's reverse rather than normal. I've given the descriptor of reverse, and I've added the magic number as before. And then we're trading at start set to true. We could set that to false. That's an option you have. And we're starting off with a period of 5. So let me enter my email address off screen. Click OK, and close. And so now we can see we've already been trading a little bit. I've been trading all the past week. And so this is the performance curve of the trades at the moment. This timeline here is not in any way linked to the formal timeline. It's purely a graph of the close profit and loss, in other words, the balance of the account versus the blue line, which is the moving average of that performance curve. They're both the same because they're measuring the same the performance of the same EA. But this one, the normal one, will be linked to the trade manager for the normally copied trades, and this one will be linked to the trade manager for the inverted copied trades. So we would need to do that for each of these pairs, and I won't go through that, it's a bit laborious, but let me now take you then to my second platform where we will be receiving the trades. Okay, so now we're on our second platform. It's an XeTrader demo. I've got a number of charts open. The first one, I've put my FX Blue Publisher EA so that I can monitor the performance. I have a second chart in which I placed one copy of the receiver, and it's connected to trade copy N. That's one of the channels. And this then is the receiver which copies the trade in the normal fashion. So a buy is a buy and a sell is a sell. I then have a second channel, trade copy R, in which a buy becomes a sell and a sell becomes a buy. And we can see that I currently have two open trades running. I'm on the bottom chart now here. So the EA that's running on the Aussie US dollar, it opened a normal trade and opened a reverse trade at virtually the same time and not quite the same price as one would expect. So these receivers will receive all the trades. Every trade that comes into this receiver will invert the trade and the other receiver will copy it as normal. So now we need to set up charts for each of the currency pairs in which the EAs are trading. And since I've just demonstrated one for the pound US dollar EA, I'll open a chart, or I have in fact made a chart for the pound US dollar, and I've gone to my expert advisor folder where I had loaded the trade manager, and I've loaded that onto this chart. So if we look at the properties that I've set for it, Common will make sure that the allow live trading and the DLL are ticked, and the inputs. So the first important one, obviously we add our email address, but then the ID number is the crucial one, and this is the one up top here. So this is the same ID number that I had in the controller for the normal. So it's S with the magic number and the word normal. So now this trade manager is linked to its own controller. In this case, we're managing a specified pair, so I've set that to true. One has the option here of true and false. And I'm managing these pairs, so I've entered the pound US dollar in exactly the same format as appears here, in other words, all capital letters. I'm managing by magic number, so I've set that to true. And now this is where I made a mistake the first time around. The magic number that I'm entering, and that I should have showed you before, but I'll come back to that. When we use the trade copier, it never copies across the original. It does not copy across the original magic number. It invents its own, or you can specify what it is. So I have specified that the receiver that copies a trade normally are all going to have the magic number 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so the pound the EA which is running on the pound US dollar will always be specified by that it's on that currency pair and that particular magic number. If this was on the Euro USD, that would be Euro USD, and this would still be 612345, but because you need both of them to be specified for the trade manager to recognize it, that way the trade manager will only manage the trades that it has to manage. And then all we have done, so we're using the trade manager not to, we can change all the break-evens and profit targets, but that's not the purpose for using the trade manager is set up. It's because we cannot automatically shut down a third-party EA because it doesn't have the signal code in it. What we're doing, we're using the trade manager to set a very tight stop loss. So in the loss target, I've set the stop loss in pips to true, and I've set a stop loss of 5 pips. Now I could make this 10 pips, and that's something we can experiment with. Generally, if the EA normally has a stop loss about 60, I would put about a 10 pip stop loss. But if it's a tighter, if it's say normally a stop loss of 30, then I do about a sixth of that, so I would set a stop loss target of 5. In other words, if we don't want this trade to be trading, remember every trade is being copied, this trade manager will now stop this one out very quickly on the basis that it's probably most likely going to end up as a loss, and therefore we prefer to have a loss of 5 pips than a loss of 30 pips or 50 pips. So that's all we're going to do with this trade manager, even though it has all the other features that at some stage you might want to use in your other trading. So I normally save all these set files to my preset folder, but I won't go into that bit here. And so I'll click OK. Now, I didn't enter my email address, and that's why I got a signal. But all that I would do, enter it there. At this stage, I'm going to do it just in case I forget before tomorrow when trading starts again, and I want this to be running for me. So I'll just do that off screen. And so now we've got this one set up. And I've left this as with the grid so that I can distinguish that very easily from my other one, which will be the one where I have the trade manager for the reverse trades. So again, if I right click here, Expert Advisor Properties, what you'll see is that I've done much the same. This time though, the ID number is S with the magic number in reverse rather than normal as I had for the other one. Again, I manage this specific pair, which is true. I'm managing the GBP USD. I'm managing it by magic number. And this time the magic number is 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In the other one it was 6, which is my convention. 6 for normal, 9 for reverse. And then I've also set the loss target again for 5 pips. And if I do that and enter my email so that it's all set to go at the open on Monday, we've got this one running. Now we can't see which one this is controlling, and so nor can we see what's going to happen to the performance of this trade. Obviously we will see the window here in terms of what's happening, but what you can do, what I'll just quickly show now, is that we can use the controller also as an on-chart monitor. So if I double click this to get it onto a chart, leave this unselected, so just leave it as it is, enter your email address. We don't need an ID, but this is going to be for our normal, and the magic number that we are monitoring, remember for the normal, is 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and again these two doesn't really matter, but now let me enter my email address, And so now we can see that so far we actually have taken some normal trades, and we had a few wins and a loss, but we haven't yet had 5 trades. If we'd had more than 5 trades, this would have, the moving average would have started. So the red line is the performance graph on closed balance. The blue line is the moving average of that performance graph. And we can do the same, and you can see here, although it's still called a controller, it's not doing any controlling of, because we haven't selected a mode. It is purely functioning as a performance monitor, and we're monitoring the normal copy trades this case, and we can see we're at $16 profit on this one. If I do the same on the other one, so double click from the navigator window, we leave that unselected, we add our email address, the ID we don't worry about. This is for the reverse, and the magic number we wanted to monitor here is 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then all I need to do is enter the email address. And we click go. And now we have the performance of the inverted trades. And as you see, this picture here, as we would expect, is the inverse of this one here. So we've made $16 profit at this stage, and we went as high as 68. And on the trades that were reversed, we're down at 24, a loss of 24, and it went as low as about 70, minus 70. Now, as we progress, and now as the trade manager starts to work, because we've almost up to our 5th trade, these 2 graphs, this one and this one, will start changing, and we'll see which version is profitable at which period. So we would repeat this process for all of the other 4 EAs, and so this would mean, for instance, if we wanted to do the USD EA next, we would open a USD chart, and we would go here, and we would enter a trade manager, and we would go and add the field. This would be S, and with the magic number normal, and this one we would make magic managed by Euro USD, etc. So you just need to, it's just a repeat of what I've showed you. And for the interest of time, I won't go into that. I did want to show you that the bit I missed about why we're using those magic numbers. So if I go back to my receiver, and this is the normal receiver, and go to properties, and down here somewhere, is the one that I'm interested in. So as I said, the magic number is not copied over from the originating platform, and therefore we can specify our own magic number, but this is the magic number that will be applied to all trades by this receiver. In this case, we're not inverting trades, so this one is set to false. And then for the rest, as we talked about, you need to familiarize yourself with all the various settings that are available on here. It's best to trade all orders at market to true, especially for your reverse ones, because of the difference between a stop and a limit order when we start inverting trades, and leave a decent slippage allowance. We're not doing scalping trades, so a little bit of slippage doesn't hurt so much with these type of VAs. But that's what you set up for there on the normal, and same in the reverse. Where when we go down to here, So again, the magic number now is 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inverted trades has been set to true. So the main thing I wanted to stress is that's why whatever number you put here is the number you need to use on the respective trade managers. And then the fact that the trade manager will always look for the combination of Euro USD plus this number or GBP USD plus this number, so it'll know which trade it has to be managing. Okay, and I think that should cover it. Of here I've also got my FX Blue publisher, so I can be monitoring all these trades on the website, and I'll be providing these links in the Donna Forex forum. And so just to reiterate, we have two platforms. This is the platform that was, in my case, is running the 5 EAs that I have. I have a FX Blue sender on this platform, and each of the EA charts has two controllers, one for normal and one for reverse. The trades are copied both as a normal trade, so this platform has two receivers, one with normal trades and one which reverses the trades, a buy to a sell and a sell to a buy. And then for each currency pair or each EA, we open two charts and we place a trade manager on each, and we make sure we link a trade manager to the controller via the ID, and we make sure that we manage the trades via the magic number that we assign in the receiver. So by my convention, any normal trade has a magic number of 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and any reverse copy trade has a magic number of 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the combination of the 9 number and the 6 number with the currency pair is sufficient for the trade manager to distinguish between the various EAs and various trades that it is recalling. And so finally, that brings me to the end. As we said before, you can get your FX Blue trade copier for free from fxblue.com. The performance of the systems are available in the Donna Forex forum with these links, and now I'll be adding a couple of other links tonight or tomorrow, so you can monitor the ones that I've just been showing you. If you haven't yet got a copy of this package, you can get one here. It'll last you till the end of this year, end of 2018, for just $100. That's plenty of time to try out all the different things. So I'm trying out 4 different ways here, but there still leaves a lot of options for you to do. And of course, the important thing is that we all have our own preferred EAs, and so again, this system allows you to test with your own EAs as to whether you can improve their performance. If you can't, then good luck, all the best. As I said, it's only a $100 investment, available for a year, and you can keep either the controller or the trade manager for free at the end of that time. So I think it's an exercise well worth doing. And please follow the discussion on this whole system over the rest of this year from the Donna Forex forum under the EA controller thread. And that's it for now. If you have any questions, please contact me. If you need help in setting up this system, again, please contact me and we can set up a Skype session where you share your platform. Then I can walk you through the setting up process. In the meantime, all the best with your trading. Hope it goes well, and thank you for watching.